And we are live. Yo, 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 yo. Welcome to another episode of In Space. I am your host. Got you. Laker fan 72. Definitely not Chris Conner. I do not want to be confused with that man by any means. My name is Laker fan 72. I have been a Laker fan since 2018. So pretty much all my life. And we are here to have a balanced Pelicans Lakers preview. Um, Chris would, though, like me to tell you that this show is brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. Got the code BOOT at the bottom. Be sure, use it, win some money, lose some money, gamble responsibly. Um, Something else he would like me to do more than likely.
You must know that first. Can't nothing and nobody fed what we trying to do and what we about to do. Second thing is, we got this game on our level. You understand what I'm saying?
So we'll probably run for about an hour. The goal is going to be to get as many people up here. I know, like today, I'm going to do playback, or at least a half a playback once the game starts. I'm going to do it's going to feel like Chris is going to do what is going to feel like a 2 a.m. Spaces show, which, if you know Chris, is not going to be that long of a show that late. Shout out to Florin. But yeah, man, so the link has been sent out for folks that want to join. I got my dog Vinay K, who covers the Lakers online, does a lot of talk, does a lot of different. He used to do spaces, and now Vinay I think he has a Substack stream in which he writes and so on and so forth. I think he'll be here at about 6:15, and we'll have a few conversations about the Lakers and this matchup tonight and what to look forward to coming in about 3 hours and some change. National broadcast game, ESPN. So let's talk about it. And again, like the chat is going to be open. So if anybody's confused on how to join, let me know. We'll go ahead and send over the link. I really just want to chop it up because from right now to about midnight and some change, I'm gonna be recording, talking about this game. But right now we are previewing Pelicans. Right now, I think in reference to the Lakers. How many games? 4 games up on the Lakers in the standings. LeBron James is supposed to be back tonight. And the Pelicans have Christian McCollum and Larry Nance that are both questionable, and of course no Zion. So a lot of interesting things here. The last time that the Pelicans and the Lakers faced off, the Pelicans it was in New Orleans. They ended up snapping that 10-game losing streak. But that Laker team they played looked like it's completely different. That team had Russell Westbrook. This team has D'Angelo Russell, Malik Beasley, might see Mo Bamba tonight as well. I know Rui played that game, but that's what they looked like at that particular time. Tonight's game will be LeBron's first game playing with this group along with AD. And as always, that should be interesting. But very, very pivotal game, man. I mean, we're talking about a game that if the Pelicans win, they'll be 3 games over 500 after that 10-game losing streak. I think that they would have went 5-1. And you got a chance to also to get an extra game up in the season series. They have another game March 14th that will be in New Orleans, and who knows how important that game could be. But yo, man, a lot of things that are at play even for a final game before the All-Star break. We always got the Brandon Ingram situation and story of him coming back. The Anthony Davis in New Orleans, conversation is always relevant. But the past two seasons, but specifically last year, these games have been standings based. In previous years, the Lakers since the AD trade, the Lakers have been playing for playoff positioning. They have been at the top of the conference for the most part, or somewhere close to it. And now they're battling just for their lives. They're battling just to simply be to simply make the play-in right now. And so every game matters, especially in this conference. Lakers just lost to the Trailblazers a couple of nights ago, and it's going to be interesting, man. There's been a lot of talk around Anthony Davis and his current setup of frustrations around the team losing. We know where LeBron stands, and now with the quote unquote vampire and Russell Westbrook being gone, now you're running out of scapegoats. So now it's going to be interesting to see who's next, who turns up next. And when Vinay gets on here, I'm going to ask him. It was Frank Vogel at one point. It was, you've seen the ownership. You've seen AD's health be blamed. Now it's Darvin Ham. Just like the list goes on and on. And in regards to this year, if this particular team that they put together doesn't work, I mean, you're out of options until, say, the offseason. But that's the Lakers side. It should be interesting how this game goes. I think the Lakers, for people that are on DraftKings Sportsbook, I think the spread is like 5.5, if I'm correct. Like for the Lakers, but we still don't know the final verdict on if CJ's playing. Larry Nance was just marked questionable today. That can't go. That can't be a positive to his overall status, but we'll see how that goes, man. But yo, man, I'm here. Questions, concerns. Y'all wanna pull up and chop it up. Both links were sent. The link to the actual show and the link to the StreamYard for y'all to just pull up and be up here, chopping it up and talking, man. So that is where we are at. Let's see here. I got a DM that says, make sure you talk about Brandon Ingram. Well, of course, man. I mean, that's definitely going to happen here. One person I definitely got to talk about, I didn't get a chance to do a sideshow on, man, Josh Richardson. It's going to be interesting. Or it's always interesting when you acquire these kind of players, like Josh, for example, because when you have a game like Josh had first, like he played 34 minutes and played like fantastic. Like Pelicans more than likely don't win that game without a lot of his contributions, and that brings excitement, but that brings also crazy expectations. Like there's going to be a segment of the fan base that expects Josh to play that well consistently. And I do want to tell people, like, I'm sure, as you know, he's going to have bad games, right? He may have multiple bad games in a row. Like that's just how it goes with him or with any player. But Josh Richardson reminds me a lot of the Larry Nance pickup, just from the perspective of having another veteran in this league that is like 100%, I guess, clear in what his role is. And it's not going to change no matter the team that he's on. Like Josh was this dude in reference to the things that he brings to the game on both sides of the floor as just a dude that can do a little bit of everything. He's been that dude every stop of the way. That's just how it goes. A dude that can defend. He can, has really good off-ball instincts. On ball, he can really harass a certain level of ball handlers. You saw him do a really good job against SGA, which I think in every game the Pelicans have played, ironically, they've done a solid job of containing Shy, which I don't even know if you want to call it that. I mean, with the season that he's having, but they played well against him, cut him off some of his spots, made life a little bit more difficult for him than in some other matchups where he's dropping 40 and, it feels like every other night in the late 30s, 40 points a game. Herb Jones was in there as well. But yeah, man, I mean, guys like Josh, similar to Larry, like you having someone that you can depend on, especially with the young guys that are still like Trey and Herb and Jose, and I'm just talking about tenure in the league. They're still figuring out like who they are in this league. They may know things that they're good at, but they haven't 100% established themselves to where it's gonna pay off to be able to watch a dude like Josh Richardson. Dyson Daniels is another guy, but it's gonna pay off to watch a dude like Josh Richardson that just is who he is and is comfortable within his own play style. He doesn't really have to reach beyond that to, kind of show up. I mean, he can have 10 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, a couple steals, and he had a good game. As when you're young, trying to figure out that balance, I think is going to be important. And add another veteran like Josh, who's just consistent in what his approach, I think is going to make a difference. Jay, I saw you. Jay, if you still up here, try to rejoin. I saw you up here. I just had to add you to the stream. So I will. If you want to come up here and speak, hit that StreamYard link again, pop up, and we'll chop it up. Felix, this night will continue our good way. Man, look here. Look, there's nothing like a Laker game to just bring excitement, man. I mean, you can point at whatever reason exists for whether you just point at the Anthony Davis trade or just how you feel about Laker fans that that are in New Orleans, or how you feel about the organization in total. Like, these games bring playoff style emotions. They just do. Every basket almost feels like it matters. Every adjustment is important, man. So I hope so, man. This will be a really, really, really good win to go into the All-Star break win for the Pelicans. And I mean, in a lot of ways for the Lakers too, man. I mean, like, you're not supposed to have LeBron James and Anthony Davis, regardless of the script. You're not supposed to have those two individuals and be in a spot where you are battling just to make the plan. Like, that's not the goal. Even with but that's how the roster, injuries, and so on and so forth are set up. And I mean, a testament to LeBron, even being 38 years old, still having a way to be incredible. Like, that's, you're not his prime lasting this long and this elite being, arguably a top 5 player in the league. It's just not supposed to happen. You might not ever see it again, dude, since he was 18, coming in, being borderline dominant, and still at this juncture being incredible. But what's also crazy to point at is that, like, LeBron still isn't he's not as great as he is right now. He's not the dude he was 5 years ago. Like, he's not that guy physically, athletically. And that's why a guy like Anthony Davis is so critical. And guys like him, even you going to trade for Westbrook, because at some point, man, like, you're going to run into injuries, and health matters. Brian is going to get worn down, and you can't continue playing him, I think, 38 minutes a game, 36 minutes a game, and expecting him to be great, man. Like, eventually age has to matter. Lakers need more wake-up moments. I hope to see some good actions from Schroeder. Greetings from Germany. That's dope, man. That's interesting, bro, because, like, I see, like, a love-hate relationship with Schroeder, like, online. I see maybe it's like through Darvin Ham and the lineups that he's ran with multiple guards. Maybe with LeBron coming back and you continuing to work in Beasley, and you got Rui and company, maybe that changes. But I'm interested in that, because I've also seen Schroeder help win games for this team, have really big performances. And then there's a night like against Portland the other night where he's just invisible, and everybody's like, like he throwing him into the dirt. So, but that's interesting. I think, I mean, I'm curious what they, what you do with them now. I mean, tonight, if you're the Lakers, or even if you're the Pelicans, because, if you're, we already know between CJ and Jose, you're going to see those type of situations, those type of backcourts. If CJ plays, those small lineups, or even if it's Kyra Lewis, like, how do the Lakers look to take advantage of that? Do they run what they've been running with some of these smaller guard lineups, or do they take advantage of some of the I guess size that they've acquired and run with some bigger lineups, even with a portion of these guys still getting used to playing with each other as Lakers, you know? Jay, if you still in here, you gotta re-enter, dog. So I can get you up here. So anybody that want to talk, just hit the button and let's chop it up. I am waiting for this CJ McCollum news to drop one way or another. I feel like he is going to play. All right, James. That's good, bro. I feel like he is going to play, but I would not be surprised. Similar to like LeBron, like if I were the Lakers, like I get this is a very important game and you want to like leave some kind of message. And even if you didn't, you know, like you want to play well against the Pelicans. We saw what they did last year, but that was a little different. And this might be a team that you're fighting with. I mean, who knows how the season ends? But this could be a team that you're fighting with for playing positioning. So these games definitely matter. But man, like the stretch that you got coming up, and you've seen like how different that Lakers team can look without LeBron. I mean, I'm telling you, I would give him another night. I would give him another night off. Trusting some of the people that you acquire. You just beat Golden State without LeBron. You've had some other good games against quality opponents throughout the year, but it was with Westbrook. Give LeBron another night to rest. Let him play in the All-Star break. Well, in the All-Star game, and kind of take it from there. All right, we got Vinay. Vinay.
Yo.
What's up, man?
Can you hear me? Do I sound good?
Yeah. Yeah, man. You good, bro. What's good with you?
I mean, nothing much, man. What's up with you? I mean, we got a big game tonight, so I know what's up with you. But what's going on with the whole disguise? What is this disguise that you got on right now?
Oh, you haven't met. See, Chris ain't here. This Laker fan 72, man. I've been a Lakers fan for a long time, man. Like
since like '96, back when Kobe was here.
Yeah. Well, more so since LeBron joined, bro. But that's neither here nor there, man. What's good, man?
Nothing much, man. Just trying to make it through this roller coaster of the season while everybody's suggesting we trade everybody away and waive them or just have no team other than LeBron on there for some reason. So just living life outside of that.
So Vinay, and if you guys don't know, Vinay's one of my favorite followers on Twitter from the Lakers side. I don't have many Laker writers, content creators, fans that I follow that I want to hear talk. But Vinay, I think does a good job of keeping it balanced. And one of the things that me and you talked about was on the side was Russell Westbrook, right?
Yeah.
So, and it kind of goes into I saw you put out a tweet today about Anthony Davis, about how you couldn't wait until like basically he's the next scapegoat, right?
Oh yeah.
Do you feel like in this current stage that the Lakers are in, no matter who leaves, no matter who comes in, this current setup, fans are gonna find someone else to blame versus maybe who you should be looking at, whether you feel like that's the front office or whatever the case may be?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the toughest parts of being a Laker fan, that's silly to say because there should be no tough parts when you win that many championships and stuff like that. We got a big fan base, but like the way that I think sometimes Laker fans think about basketball, it leads to like a lot of misanalysis, right? So it's just like, and some of this also happens when you got like a superstar on your team. Like, yeah, like y'all know what that is because you have BI and you have Zion, right? So like when BI plays and everything looks great, but then when BI sits down, and let's say Zion's not playing, most of your analysis is always based on like, oh, well, BI did this, but then there's a huge drop off when he sits down. It's like, yeah, he's your best player. So when he sits down, like your team's not going to be good. And that's like a thing that happens in the NBA media. Like on the Lakers side, like we kind of suffer that with like LeBron, you know, like he's so extraordinary as a player. He's Mount Rushmore, greatest of all time, wherever you want to put him. That like the moment he sits down, the numbers all go bad. It's like, yeah, because he's like the best player on the team. That's going to happen. And like, I think that has hurt. And it's not Braun's fault because he is who he is. But I think, you know, the folks in ESPN and the folks I told you all the time, like, we need the local guys to start making a push because they actually pay attention to the game and they actually care about the team beyond just the superstars and stuff like that. But like these folks at ESPN and all these other, you know, national reps, like all they go up and say is like, well, he's not good with LeBron, and he can't be LeBron when LeBron's sitting down. So how good is he really? And it's like, all right, man, like that's not how basketball works, you know. And to answer your question, like that's what's going to happen. Like Russ is gone now, and it's taken 3 days, and people are already suggesting that we should trade AD. And I'm like, yo, he told you like 5 games ago, he told you, hey, I need surgery on my foot, but I'm gonna try and play through it because I want to help this team win. And then he had like 3 good games, and then he had like 3 bad games. And after 3 bad games, people are like, yeah, we should trade him. Chris, somebody said let's trade him for Kyrie Irving. I was just like, what are you talking about? Why would you trade? Okay, let's put the basketball stuff aside. We just got through people telling us stop playing small guards. Like, don't play any more small guards. And now we're suggesting we trade our biggest guy for a small. I mean, Kyrie's an amazing basketball talent, but it's like, come on, bro. Like, what are we doing here? And that's been tough for like a year and a half. It's been tough. I don't think it's ever going to stop. I think it's just kind of the way people, you know, the Stephen A. and Skip Bayless folks, man. They just kind of changed the way people analyze basketball, and I think it just kind of hurts everybody, not just the Lakers. It hurts any team that has 2 guys, that has 1 or 2 guys that are just great players. Like, people just don't know how to evaluate it. Like, it's always when they're on and when they're off. And that's just not how bad. You know that. Yeah, that's not how basketball works.
Yeah, you know, I mean, it's just interesting, right? Like, I mean, one night I see Darvin Ham being trashed. The next night it's AD, then it's Schroeder, then it's this person. It's like, you know, what is interesting, man. It kind of goes into LeBron having a few games off after breaking a record. It's like, man, bro is 38 years old, and I know what like I think we lose the fact. We got a chance to really think about it once he breaks the scoring record, or some did, but like he's not supposed to still be doing this level of carrying at this age. Nobody is. Nobody's built to do that. He shouldn't have to, right? And I'm really interested because one thing Russ did was, I think that, you know, on nights where LeBron, you know, was off or kind of, you know, finding himself, maybe he has a poor shooting night, or it's the other way. If one of the top 2 guys has it going, the other one doesn't. Like, Russ can help stabilize some things, and especially when he went to that bench role, he was able to stabilize some things and really, you know, affect the game in a lot of different ways. And even if it wasn't the prettiest thing to watch in some perspectives, like that was important for them. I look at this team now; it's more you added more role players, right? How much do you think that helps? So I guess how much better do you think the Lakers are in the grand scheme of things? As someone who was a Russ supporter, you know, of sorts, how much do you think? I mean, is it? I guess what level or how many games worth is adding this group of players versus what you had previously with Russ? I mean, Thomas Bryant and company.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good question. I would say that you know how people do that floor ceiling thing, where it's just like I think the floor of the team is much higher now because you have a baseline of folks that can play a certain way. They needed to move Russ. Like he made too much money. If Russ was making $10 million, $15 million, I don't think people would be complaining about Russ the way they did, because you would have had cap space for other folks. But $47 million, it's impossible to justify $47 million of production. Like, you have to be like a top 3 player in the NBA to justify that dollar value. You know what I'm saying? Like, right. So I think they're a better team. I think we'll see today how much of an impact it can have because that game was real close. Like until like Trey Murphy. I think the last time we played y'all, like Trey Murphy had that little stretch where he hit that transition three. That just that momentum at the end of the third ticket. I'm going to be very curious to see how the baseline of this team works against you guys because I think you guys are a nice example of what modern basketball is going to eventually look like. It's going to be two stars. It's going to be, two stars that are like more wingish. Zion, I guess you could say he's a big, but he's not really a big because of how he moves. Right. And then you have a bunch of like athletes, offensive, defensive, 3-and-D guys, that sort of. I think, and then one traditional big and like Jonas is what you have. Like I think that's going to be how teams are constructed in the future. I think we're closer to that now than we were with Russ because we were just too top heavy. So I'm going to be very curious to see how it looks. Today's like a super important tiebreaker game. Like we're tied 1-1 on the season. After this game, we're going to have one more matchup, but you got to win one. But that game's going to be in New Orleans. So like we have to win the game at home and that sort of stuff matters. So I think the Lakers are better because of the trade. I was a big proponent of just trade them and bring back more guys that can help out. But it goes back to what you said, man. Like LeBron's 38. Like we're trying to pretend like the Lakers, and this is something the Lakers have issues with. They think that LeBron can be 25-year-old LeBron on both ends. And I'm watching the games, and I'm watching some guys like fight for their lives on box outs because Bron's not going to go and grab the rebound. Like he's not going to help every single play because he's old and he's earned that equity. So you know what I mean? Like it's not reasonable to expect him to have to do all that sort of stuff. But we'll see, man. We'll see how it looks. I think the floor is higher, and the ceiling is just wherever AD and Anthony Davis takes.
I agree, man. It's. I mean,
sorry, AD and LeBron take us. I said AD and Anthony Davis. But you know what I mean?
Nah. I got you. I mean, look, man. I think that I definitely think the team got better. Hey, now let me get my dog Rail up here. What's up, man?
Good evening.
Real, I don't know if you know Vinay, but Vinay is real. Vinay got crying babies in the background, so I know you. I know.
I'm sorry, man. They do it on purpose. The moment they hear me on a phone call, it's like let me make as much noise as possible to bother this guy.
It'd be like that.
It's all good. Real, what's good with you?
What's up, man? I thought I was coming on. I thought it was gonna be like 50 people on the screen, bro. I'm sorry, I'm late.
nah, man, you good, man. It's some people in the queue. I'm gonna get James up here in a little bit, but I know you got a watch party to go to a setup soon.
Hey, man, look, I'm homesick tonight, but I only got about like 20 minutes before I can hop off of here. But I'm just peeking in real quick.
Good, man. You met Laker fan 72 already?
Yes, we've been acquainted. Okay. Yes.
Oh, okay. I just asking. Hey man, what are your thoughts on the game tonight, man? I was just talking to Vinay about the Lakers side of things and what they've added, and how it's all going to mess even with the time that's left. But we didn't really talk about the game too much. I'm gonna get back to him on that. But just in specifically to this game, we always get hyped up about these games, right?
For sure. From
the Pelican side of things, and now I think for a while. There was a majority of like Laker fandom to kind of like stiff arm, like y'all not important. But now you fighting for playing position. Every game matters.
We fight for pick swaps. This is a pick swap series. We're trying to see
that too. The pick swap. Yeah. This is the pick swap bowl. Yeah, that's what we're looking at. But I mean, we put watch parties together around these games, right?
Right.
We put there are parties put together around regular season Lakers Pelicans games at this point. Going into the All-Star break, we don't know if CJ's going to play yet. We don't know if Larry Nance. I mean, LeBron's supposed to play. How important do you think?
Know. Yeah, we know what's about to happen.
We know LeBron's playing, but how important do you think is this game going into the All-Star break?
I think it's very important. I think we need the momentum. I think the Lakers might need the momentum just a little bit more. But we got to go out there and do our thing. I mean, Vegas, you know how Vegas is. They got the Lakers at a 5-point spread or something, 5-point favorite.
Yeah.
When I saw that, I was like, okay, just throw up in my mouth a little bit. But I don't know if Vegas knows Brandon Ingram as well as we do. And when Brandon Ingram shows up, against his former team. So, you know, and it's Larry's former team too. But you know, he got the groin thing, and we know how that goes. You know, we're kind of cautious
Yeah.
around these parts. So he's probably out. I'm gonna go ahead and say CJ probably gonna be out, but Brandon Ingram, the Kingram, he going for a cool 60 points tonight. We're gonna see.
Well, I mean, look, right, in them finding themselves again, right, like after the losing streak, it's a big part of that has been him being the best player on the floor in a lot of these matchups, no matter what, right? Against SGA, same thing. He was the best player. SGA has been on a heater, like crazy, free throw attempts and all.
This hat is hot, dog.
How is this brother getting to the free throw line? Is like, okay, I don't think he gets enough credit for how crafty he is, especially on whether he's going full speed or he's kind of like the best I could describe it is like Alvin Kamara in it. He doesn't look like he's going as fast as he is, but he's very, very crafty with, you know, Euro steps and, you know, change of direction and finding a way to get you in weird spots to create contact. The amount of times brother gets to the line is crazy. But point is, Brandon's been, outside of the Luka game and the Cleveland game, I mean, he's been the best player on the floor. Vinay, from your perspective, getting an opportunity to watch Brandon pretty much since dating back to where he was a rookie closely, I've heard a lot of people say they saw this coming. Did you see the Brandon that's healthy right now? He's back in to the dude that helped lead this team to a 6-game series against the Suns. Did you see this guy that we're watching now when healthy?
Yeah, I would say, like, I was one of those people that said that you could see this coming with Brandon, but like I would say, like it was like the turn. Like you could see the turn with him back when that last segment with the Lakers before he got moved. Like you could see for him, because he played with LeBron, long story short, because he played with LeBron, it's not easy to play with LeBron, especially when you need the ball in your hands to be effective. You know, shout out to Seth Partnow, like thinking that, you know, Brandon has to be a spot-up guy, but like obviously he could be effective off the ball too, like as a shooter if he needs to be. But like you could tell that for a young guy, it took some time for him to figure it out, and probably going to New Orleans was really good for him because he could get those reps. Like he could learn to fail at stuff and then learn what he was good at. So I would say we knew the turn was coming, but the upper ceiling of what he is now, I can't say that people will be like, yeah, for sure we knew he was going to be a, you know, like near 30-point guy. You know, he's now dishing out a bunch of assists nowadays. Like he's you know, he's put on some weight. The one thing I'll say, like from the games I watched this season, he is so comfortable now, like just playing his game. And that's something that like compared to before, it's just something I didn't expect to see so soon. Like he's genuinely comfortable playing basketball. I see him walking the threes. I see him walking to his mid-range. Last game we played, we put Rui Hachimura on him. I think we put Braun on him on one play. We put I don't know if we had AD on him.
Don't forget about the former wing stopper Patrick Beverly himself. Tall wing stopper Patrick Beverly. When they have some respect for Pat.
Yeah, I mean I already knew he was gonna get flamed, so that's the deal. But like it's just even against, like he had like a turnaround jumper on LeBron or something like that, and like it was like as if he was being defended by nobody. So it's like I feel like he's really figured it out. You know, the only thing that's really stopping y'all is you can't seem to get both guys healthy, which is the problem the Lakers have too. But it's been really nice to see where he's kind of ended up and how he's kind of carried himself so far.
So real, and this is also Pelican Lakers centric, right? When the Anthony Davis trade first happened, I don't know about you, but I bet if we took a vote just among Pelicans fans, I bet that most people were excited about Lonzo. That's who I was most excited about.
I could see that. I would say I was a Lonzo fan, but I didn't necessarily want him on our team. I was like, I don't know about this. And I still think he turned out all right for us. You know, could have been worse.
But like, so Brandon, because there was some, and I think we forget these things, right? Like he was, people were confused about exactly what they were going to witness. He was in a contract year. you had seen flashes of sorts, and it's unfortunate because he was in the midst on a really good run the second half of the year against I'm trying to think against what is going on here. All right. I don't even know what's happening. But yeah, he was on a really good run in the second half of that Lakers tenure before he had the blood clot situation, and then but it was a mystery, right? I would say most people were excited about Lonzo.
Yeah,
that was like number one.
I was very nervous about BI. I think I was on somebody's podcast, and I said if anybody gonna give us issues, especially as far as like attitude, it's gonna be BI. I'm glad that I was wrong.
we were just confused.
He's hard to read. He's very stoic.
Yeah. We were all confused, and then he comes out, and his only All-Star appearance, right, was that first year. But he also came back with appeared to be a better player. That was his, I think to this day, that was his, in a limited amount of time this year, he's on pace to have his best 3-point shooting year, but we need a lot more games. But so far as a pro, I would say his first year, the All-Star year in New Orleans, was it. And then you end up getting to a situation where you sign him to a long extension. Then we get last year. What did you first think about? I know you kind of went into it, but how much has your thoughts, your opinion on Brandon changed from when he first arrived, day one, to where it's at now? Because I think that's very important, especially when you think about how that trade looked and how we thought things would look.
Yeah, I think I watched that Lakers team a lot before they got LeBron, and just that first season that they got Lonzo, mostly was watching, to see Lonzo and them, and Josh Hart was over there and everything. But I think coming into it, I was like, okay, yeah, Brandon Ingram's, he was a really high pick and everything. He's a good player. Let's see how it goes, right? So as time went on, it didn't really take that long for me to figure out that he's that dude, right? So it's like he's way better for us than I ever thought that he would be. And a lot of the fan base, they've been giving him a lot of I don't even know what the word is, but they've been taking issue with him, right? And it's just like, look, I'd rather have him on my team than on the other guy's team. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think he's been great for us, and I think that he hasn't even really hit what he could be yet. I don't even think he's fully tapped into that. So yeah, I mean, as long as our guy can stay healthy, we should be able to see some great stuff from him.
Yeah, and I mean, we know Vinay. So these matchups specifically, when we talk Brandon, like how we look, I think how I look at them now are a lot different than in the beginning. He would even come out and say, man, I kind of get a little bit too excited, playing the former team, playing, specifically the ones in LA. Like, the performances were they were inconsistent. You could tell that he took some time to find himself. Versus now, this particular version of him you saw in the last game, right? He came out firing, even like in foul trouble, right? He ended up having plus 30, I think 34 in that game. But people forget he was out of the game. He had 2 fouls, I think, to start like the first 3 minutes, or so on and so forth. Comes out and he was kind of struggling. He had a decent game against Dallas, but he had been really trying to find himself again coming back from injury. And the Laker game was like from the start, the minute he entered to the time the game was over, he was the best dude on the floor, right? Do you, when you look at that and you look in this matchup, LeBron coming back, the situation with Anthony, if you had to rank right now with how everyone's playing, BI, AD, LeBron, just today going into this game, not in regard, just simply today, how they're playing, who you think, performance levels tonight, how would you rank it? I think in the like the grand scheme of things, BI is the third best player, but right now he's arguably playing. You know what I'm saying? LeBron's coming back from injury. AD's been such and such. How would you rank coming in right now, this moment coming into this game? How would you rank the three?
Yeah, I would say if everybody was like healthy, you know what I mean? Like if everybody was like locked in and healthy, I would agree with that. I'd probably put BI at 3.
Yeah.
It's because, AD defensively, he can just do so much stuff to kill his, Braun is Braun. But like right now, it's just kind of AD's been up and down. We don't know what version of him we'll get sometimes. Like that Pelicans game, AD came out really nice, and then you guys put Nance on him, and I don't know what happened in that second half. Like he just, like not to say like Nance clamped him or something like that, but just like it seemed like it just kind of took him out of his rhythm or whatever it was. I don't know if we didn't get him the ball enough or his nerves caught up. I don't know what it was. It could be anything. I would say like. No, I would put BI number 2. It's hard for me not to put LeBron number 1 just because it's LeBron. He's like,
LeBron, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. But like, yeah, I would say like 1, 2, 3. You could probably say it's like Bron, BI, AD. But that could always change peak wise. I'm gonna be very interested. Like we said this before Rel joined. Like before we put Rui, Bron, and the wing stopper Patrick Beverly on BI last game. All of those matchups got torched. Like every single one of them, nobody could stay in front of BI. So we've got Vando on the team now, and I'm very curious to see if we play Vando on BI because I think physically he probably matches up a little bit better. Like Vando, his defense reminds me a lot, not his defense, but his physical nature, like the way he can absorb collisions and use his length. It reminds me a lot of like Herb Jones. Like Herb Jones is younger than Vando, but like that kind of defensive player. He has like a crazy motor and stuff like that. I'm not gonna say he's gonna stop BI because BI just shoots over everybody anyways. But like, I think I'd be curious to see if it makes a difference because I think that's really the only type of player that can stop BI. Like a guy who has like super high motor, has the length to maybe challenge some of his live dribbling and stuff like that. So I'm gonna be curious to see because I already know Rui's too slow. BI just gonna put it on the floor and go by him. Ron is old. He don't want to play defense right now in the regular season. And Anthony Davis, like his footwork is a little shaky because he's working through injury and stuff like that. And we try to before we put Anthony Davis on BI sometimes, and he's done a pretty decent job. But like right now, I don't know where Anthony's at with his injury, so I'm gonna be curious to see what happens.
That's the problem, Renee, because I think I look at a team like Cleveland, right? And okay, they're the best defensive team in basketball, so it's like we're talking about the top of the line here, but even like possessions where they put a dude like Dean Wade out, like I don't know if Pelicans fans, the people that are in here, have watched Dean Wade play defensive basketball. It is some of the best stuff. I promise you will watch. The fundamentals, the patience, the not going for, because with Brandon, sometimes like, he's gonna take some tough shots. So sometimes you just gotta stay on your feet. The fundamentals were there, but it also helped that his last line of defense behind him playing that defense is Jared Allen or it's Evan Mobley, playing free safety. It's I'm really excited about what Cleveland has. But depending on the AD that walks into crypto tonight, I almost said Staples. They walk into crypto tonight.
No, you got it right. It's Staples. We don't accept crypto.
Yeah.
Ain't no OG Lakers fans call it crypto. It just sounds wrong.
It does.
I'm curious with that. I think Vanderbilt, I do agree that Vanderbilt is the kind of guy, and I've seen it in previous matchups when Vanderbilt was in Minnesota. The Utah game, the one game, because I think Brandon's only played Utah once this year, if I'm correct, and in that game he got off to a decent start. But when Vanderbilt was in Minnesota, like guys like that typically can give Brandon issues, But look, if he has it going, he has it going. I'm really curious in the time in which you have those Vanderbilt AD situations, depending on how the game is officiated, what that can do. So that's a really good point. Real, and I'm gonna let you get out of here, Vinay, as well, if you choose to here. Let's say CJ doesn't play. Let's say CJ is out, and similar to what I said about LeBron before the game started, I would sit CJ. I would sit him, give him
regardless, or sit CJ regardless, or what?
Yeah, I would.
Okay.
I would. The fan in me says play him, but I wouldn't. Like he's banged up right now, man. It was like the brother was wearing. Whatever he was having to protect his wrist and his finger, he went into a parade, bro. He was wearing a parade. He's clearly not healthy right now, right?
He bowed out of the 3-point contest. Is that?
Yes.
I didn't even know he was gonna be in it. That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, so now we got Trey Murphy to represent us, on Saturday.
Dunk,
but like if CJ doesn't play, I want to talk about who you think is going to be most important in this matchup against this team. It's a little weird because we only have a couple games, and then and with Bron playing, it's really the first game of everything of the the full lineup.
Yeah.
If I don't know what's up with Mobamba, for example, but for the most part, this is the first chance you really get to see Bron with this team post trade deadline. Who do you think is most important next to Brandon to help the Pelicans win this game?
I tend to always lean towards Trey. I'm looking for him to have another one of those nights where he goes like not 8 for 8 because I wanted to make more baskets than that, right? Like I'm looking for like and maybe not even a perfect night, maybe like a 14 of 16, but just I'm looking for him to have a big game. And initially, before you finish asking the question, I was gonna say Najee, but I feel like Najee shows up bigger and better when BI is not in the lineup. So
I agree, actually.
Wasn't really, I was thinking about it and I was like, no, I can't go with Najee. So I'm gonna say Trey. Larry, with him being questionable, probably not him. He's probably not gonna play. We know how that goes. I'm just kind of like going through all these names in my head. I don't know. Jay Rich might have a good night, but
where's Jonas?
Yeah, man. Where is Jonas? That's my guy. I would never turn my back on Jonas, but he just wasn't my first thought. He wasn't my first thought, and it's not his fault. It's the fault of the people who refuse to get the man the ball. So hey, I'm never gonna blame my guy JV. That's my neighbor.
I've
never said anything bad about it.
I know. I appreciate that. Vinay,
I just want to say,
huh?
My bad. I just wanted to say before I go, Brandon Ingram is 5-5 against the Lakers. The first 5 games he lost. The last 5 games he won.
That's crazy.
Need to see the streak keep going.
Wow, that's a surprise. I would have thought it would be that close, but
he'd be well. I don't want to say that, but yeah.
Hey, look, I'm gonna say this. This is the last thing I'm gonna say. So you can bring your Pelicans folks up, Chris, because I'm sure they don't want to hear me speaking the whole time. I'm gonna say this. You can fool everybody else, but you can't fool me, all right? Like, just because CJ's not playing and just because Nance not playing, I'm not sleeping on Trey Murphy. I'm not sleeping on Dyson. I'm not sleeping on Josh Richardson. I'm not sleeping on Alvarado. Because I remember we watched one of those games where we were up like 20 or something like that, and Jose went on a crazy tear. And this Lakers team can find ways to lose games if they really, really want to. So, you have a young team, a competitive team. Like, this game matters in terms of standings, no matter how many games you guys are ahead of us or we're behind you or whatever. So, like, I would expect, for y'all to compete all the way through. Like this is not a minus 10.5 game. This is just -5, and this is with LeBron and AD and the New Look Lakers. So I think it'll probably be closer than we expect.
Cool. Well, I just shot you a follow, Vinay. Follow me back.
Yeah, I got you.
I appreciate that. One of my favorite, probably out of 4 Laker people that I follow. Vinay keeps it 100. He calls out. He very, very similar to Maples. One of the only people that I know that loves the team, but also has people that hates him that love the team as well. It's such a weird connection, but that's how it should be. That's what objective, conversation about a team that you enjoy watching or that you create content on should be. Hopefully Vinay will pop up in the spaces and we'll chop it up again. Rail, get healthy. If not, space time, pull up. I'm gonna let y'all go, and we're gonna make this a little bit of Pelican centric. Vinay, get out of here. Take it easy. Yeah, you outside. Get out. You are up now.
Look, I'm gonna give up the podcast setup, but I'm gonna log in from my other laptop or from my phone. So I'll be back, but I'll be on the couch.
Do that. Laker fan 72 is out. I'm here. James Everett, what up?
What's good?
Yeah.
What's good, man? Where y'all at about this game, man? We still waiting to hear some. We're still waiting to hear some final news on whether or not CJ is gonna play. But regardless, with or without CJ, how do y'all feel this game is gonna go? What do y'all think is gonna be important? Everett was here, now he is not. James,
no, I'm here.
Oh no, Oh, okay. It's the black screen that's confusing me because the way I was looking at it, it looked like you ain't here, but you really
You know,
here.
it's weird. I don't
All
know
right.
why it's like that.
Nah, it's all good though. Go ahead.
All right. For this game, it depends. Is he officially playing? Because I know that
Brian
he
playing,
was
bro.
trying to come back.
He playing. He
Yeah,
playing. Yeah.
which
Don't
is
worry
so
about
weird
it.
that he got to rest up for a week just to play us every damn time, which is crazy. But here we are. I feel good, man. I feel like we are starting to get a little bit of rhythm. Everybody was upset at the Oklahoma City win, which is wild to me. I know we didn't play our best basketball, but hey, we won 3 out of our last 4. We're trying to go into the All-Star break strong, and I think we're going to continue that tonight. I don't know what's going on with Anthony Davis because haven't been engaged. A part of me, I heard a couple of rumors that he was upset because the team might have been shopping him for Kevin Durant, which he shouldn't be upset about. But hey, man, listen, it happens. That's Kevin freaking Durant. So if he's still in his little mood, then that's good for us. You know what I mean? It hurts that Larry's might not play because of a groin strain, but hey, that means somebody's just going to have to step up, and we're going to have to play team basketball. It's the last game before the All-Star break, so I don't want to hear none of that. We tired, man. You got to show up and show out. We're on ESPN. We can't be out here half stepping. You know what I mean?
I can't hear you, Chris. You muted.
Definitely. My bad. Nah, I don't think Larry's gonna play. In all honesty, I saw when he got hurt in that Thunder game and was surprised that he decided to come back out. But he clearly wasn't himself. And look, bro, he been battling with stuff all year pretty much after that first month or so. I mean, it kind of is what it is. And similar to hamstrings with Zion, like groin injuries, they are just not in those sports. They're not injuries that you need to fool around with. I can't see him going out there and play, but maybe he does. I would rest him, but that also goes to my worry because in that last matchup, AD was going nuts in the first half. He had a really good performance. Yeah, Jackson. He had a really good game in plus Jonas minutes. And then when Larry came in, specifically in that fourth quarter, now some of that's on the Lakers because they stopped finding him. They stopped looking for ways to get him the basketball, in AD. But Larry was a big part of that. He was, second chance opportunities, a lot of things that he ended up doing. I'm really curious from a change of pace perspective, which route the Pelicans go. And I don't think this is a good Billy matchup. I remember, and James, you can start on this. I remember last year. I don't remember which game it was. It might have been the game that was in New Orleans, the Trey Murphy game. But it might have been that game where Billy subbed in for like 2 minutes.
And they took his ass right out.
And they took him out. And you didn't see her go as the rest of that game. It just was not a good matchup for him. You know what I'm saying? But Jackson Hayes game, shout out to the South Store. He might be the dude you might have to have out there. How you feel about Jackson Hayes after 5 minutes in this kind of game, James?
I personally don't feel good about Jackson Hayes. And I'm gonna be honest with you. Bro. Like, I'm not even finna double down on Jackson Hayes. It's just more the fact that I don't think we really have a big that can really give AD too much trouble on as defending him. Like, even everybody gives Larry Nance credit for defending him. Like, it was still parts of that game. AD was cooking Larry Nance too. Like, it was like up until the second part of the third quarter is when it seems like AD just stopped showing up. It's like, yo, what happened? Because didn't AD damn near had 30 by halftime? Like, it was.
Yeah, it was something crazy, dog. Like, he had everything going, picking rolls, picking pops. Like,
but here's the thing, though. So I don't know if y'all watched the Portland game the other night. And I said this about the Lakers, and I wish I was up here when Vinay was here because I wanted to say this. I don't think the Lakers improved. I think it was a lateral move overall because even though they improved in some areas, I truly believe they lost a lot with Westbrook. Like Westbrook didn't fit with LeBron.
I
That was
can
true.
agree. I agree, James.
But Westbrook was the only man outside of LeBron that could give AD the ball where he needed to get the ball. And we know D'Lo ain't that type of dude. Like D'Lo is not a like point guard to truly get guys where they need to have the ball at. Like every now and then he may have a good game or something like that where he'll have like 7, 8 assists or something like that. But that's not his cup of tea. That's not who he is. And so one, you got him dealing with a foot issue. You got rid of the one dude that could give him the ball outside of LeBron James, especially when LeBron is not on the floor. And then you replace him with a non-shooter in Vanderbilt, even though he's good defensively. And you got two streaky shooters. Like as much as I get the percentage, but we've seen Beasley and D'Lo game. Like they'll go 8 for 10 one game and 1 for 10 the next game. Like them dudes is not really consistent enough to be like, oh my God, they finally have shooters. Like, no, they have shooters. They just not gonna be dependent. But like, you know, as soon as you need them to hit the three, they're not gonna hit the three. Now watch the so and so hit them tonight, probably, but but it is what it is when it comes to that team. But as far as like defending Anthony Davis, I just if he couldn't cook, I'd be surprised. He couldn't cook a Portland team that did not have Nurkic and whoever the other center was. Like he was getting outworked by Eubanks. And I'm like, come on, AD, bro. Like I kill you and I don't like you no more, but you better than this. And and so like that's my thing is that I don't know what happened. I mean, J Dub put up a lineup that I think would work in the sense of having J Rich, CJ, if CJ plays, of course, Trey Murphy, Herb Jones, and BI. I personally would put I don't know, like I some part of me would feel like I would put Herb on AD to a certain degree to at least, you know, or at least help or something. I don't know. But like play that 5 to where on the other end, like make AD get out the paint. Because he's still a good defender. Like he may not be doing anything offensively, but defensively he still wreaks hell for us when it comes to try to attack the basket. But yeah, I don't know. Like it's 50-50 with me with this game today, depending on who plays and stuff. Like how many times we played the Lakers the last 2 years where we like, yeah, we finna get our tails whooped this game, and all of a sudden we swag them, and then the one game we thought we were gonna blow them out, they beat us because somebody lost Matt Ryan.
Yeah. I mean, cause look, I mean, and here's the thing, especially like I think right now is a good time to see this particular Lakers team because they still don't know who they are, and they got a lot of people that they got to consider playing.
Like I still ain't seen Mo Bamba.
Like right, like, but you got Austin Reeves, who I think is a solid player. They got to figure out how they gonna make that work. You still got Lonnie Walker, who killed the Pelicans in the first game in LA, like repeatedly. Winyan Gabriel, who former Pelican, but Winyan had moments throughout the year. Specifically, shout out E. Yeah, I mean, I got rid of. I'm not that name no more. I took the glasses off. The glasses on. Lakers fan 72, glasses off. It's just me.
He out of here.
But they got a lot of people, I think, especially for Darvin Ham, first year as a head coach, to kind of figure out how to manage on a team where folks, if you look at what Laker fans' problems have been, it was already rotational based, which as Pelicans fan supporters, we know what those gripes look like. But that's the issue, and you doing that in combination with welcoming in new players, like it's gonna be hard. They're not gonna have it all figured out tonight. So that goes back to, can you contain LeBron James and Anthony Davis from having astronomical games? I think D'Lo could have a night. I know Malik Beasley. I feel like Malik Beasley and LeBron lineups are going to be important for them. It's just going to be a dude that Bron always finds a way to find his shooters. Beasley's going to be that kind of guy. But I mean, they're a team that they have a lot to figure out, and they're not going to have it all figured out today. The team that the Pelicans looking at today, to me, is going to look a lot different just on how they're playing from the team you see March 14th. So that's what I'm interested about. Real, you back now on your laptop?
Sir.
No, you're not on your laptop. You're on your phone.
No, I'm on the phone.
What's happening?
I'm in here. Man, that hat was hot, dog. I was only on there for like 20 minutes, and I had the whiskey and the hat, and I'm like drenched in sweat. It's
Yeah,
disgusting.
nah, man. I mean, and this ain't even. And so Isaac say Brown always gives up to play the Pels. I don't know why.
He
Yo,
does.
AD has good like damn near every matchup. AD plays well against. Like that's just it. Just it is what it is. But that's where the Herb Jones situation. Herb defended Bron really well in the last game in New Orleans. He just did.
Hmm.
In LA, might be a little different. You might get some of them calls, them foul calls against you that you know what I'm saying? You're not used to. Vince brings up a really good point. AD never shows up in the second half. Look at his whole history. We definitely know that. And that was
Hmm.
kind of the story in the last game. I mean, Laker fans have been confused about that. We kind of, we've seen that. I'm really curious and I want to talk more Josh Richardson here. So um I talked in the beginning of the show before y'all came up about how the game he had in his in his pretty much arrival in New Orleans. Brother ain't opened up his suitcase yet and played 34 minutes. Played 34 minutes. I mean, real James, there was moments in that game to start the fourth quarter where they were running their offense through a man that just arrived. They were running their offense through Josh Richardson, and I don't know if I should be upset or I should be excited. But I really enjoy watching Josh Richardson play basketball because even if you never watched the game in your life, you could tell he knows what he's doing and he's comfortable in that setting.
Hmm.
Like, first of all, why is the man that just got here calling out what the Thunder are doing?
The defense, yeah.
Hey, he's a
Why?
vet.
Why?
He's a vet.
But that could also be a credit to him because listen, and I think this is what like I look at him kind of similar to Larry Nance, but from this perspective, like I think he's a regular season stabilizer, and I think he's a postseason playoff player just because he's comfortable in his own skin. He knows who
Hmm.
he is, he knows what he offers, and he gives you a level of flexibility that you could use. Play the two, play the three, can handle the ball a little bit, decent shooter. And him being able, Herb not having to guard SGA the entire game, it paid dividends.
That's huge.
You
It
don't get a
did.
chance against other teams with star talents. You don't get a chance to see Herb off ball. You just don't. You don't. I don't remember the last time I've seen it.
Since
To be
Dyson
honest.
went down. Like
Yeah,
I don't even know
yeah,
how long that man been out.
yeah,
that's really what it is. Like since
yeah,
Dyson's been down.
Yeah.
yeah. So that's big. But Josh, and real, I wanna go. One actually, James, I'm gonna go to you here. Like, I don't think this team needed many individuals with their current setup because I think that with Dyson out, it was either gonna be Dyson or Kyra, regardless, playing. Young players, you're still figuring out. I'm enjoying Kyra Lewis play basketball. I gotta say that. But they just needed another dude in this process, especially without Zion that just knew what he was doing. Um, how excited are you? Not just from just one game, because we know he's gonna have moments where he's struggles or whatever the case may be. But how excited are you to add a guy like Josh Richardson? And you can add into your thoughts about his first game.
Yeah, I mean, you can attest to this. At first, I wasn't happy. Not saying that like Jay Rich wasn't a good player, and I didn't already knew who he was. It was like I think I was like most Pelican fans. We was expecting like a bigger move, and then hopefully that like we were gonna be able to try to do something to help us try to really really compete this year. But it is what it is. But if there was something David Griffin could have done that you know solve two problems at once and not get worse. I think that was the best thing that he did. Like he solved the tax issue that was going into the off season, even though it kind of like it hurts now because we do make a big trade, then like we ain't gonna have the salary. But whatever. Like they did what they supposed to do, and then they got a player that were useful. Kind of like the same year that we got off JJ Redick. JJ Redick was no longer useful, and we got James Johnson. Who helped a lot. So my thing is that going forward, and it's all predicated on health. Like we all know that, like you said, that looking at this team, like maybe they didn't necessarily need to make a big splash, and they didn't. It just unfortunately we got to rely on two guys that can't stay on the court for a long period of time. But overall, if they do, like think about this: outside of backup big, like at this point,
Mhm.
like there's really nowhere you can go in the sense of like attacking somebody on the defensive side of the ball. Like there is no Devontae Graham anymore. Like even if Jay Rich don't play, if Dyson is healthy, you have him. You have Herb Jones. You have Najee Marshall. Like then at the same time, if Zion is playing, you have him as a playmaker to always every time you turn around, he's making a play defensively right when you need it. So like there's not really a hole that you can sit there and say, okay, well, if we go against a team that is guard centric, like from as long as we have somebody between 6 foot whatever till about 6'9", 6'10", we got to answer for the most part.
Yeah.
Like, and that's the thing. And you talking about like it's crazy that he played 34 minutes. Like, look, bro. Like I know people be mad at Willie and everything like that, but that that made me laugh so much because that was the most Willie thing he could have done. Is that okay? I don't have Dyson. They traded DG to save me from myself. Guess what I'm about to do? I'm gonna play Josh Richardson 35 minutes because he does exactly what I love, which is play defense and stuff like that. And it was times that shoot, he looked like he was the best defender on the court. Like, yes, Herb Jones did his thing that he always does, but it was like what was that play? Like he stole the ball and the ball took the ball behind his back at the same time, like on a fast break. And even on the inbound pass, where it was like the last inbound where he almost stole the ball from SGA. Like it
Yeah.
seemed like anytime he was around the ball, he doggone just stole it. So it's wild that he's that talented as far as on the defensive end on the court.
Agree. All right. Hold on, Rocky. Rocky, you in the streets? Where you at?
No. Now, Rihanna with the pregnant is a whole different story. Yeah, that's what I said. She was
Rocky,
napping, but I'm surprised somebody.
what is going on in the background?
Well, we can hit him, but not you.
Yeah, I'm about to say we
Hey,
can
can
get
y'all?
whatever happened in the
Hey,
background. I
man,
can't hear you though.
I was just. Hey, Chris, I was just pulling up to show you some love, man. I'm up here in Red Lobster with my mom for her celebrating her birthday. I just wanted to dip in and show some
Go
love.
ahead. Go ahead. Appreciate it, Rocky.
Enjoy the
Enjoy
cheddar biscuits.
Enjoy
Happy birthday to her.
Tell her we say
Happy
happy
birthday,
birthday.
mama. I'm gonna holler at y'all after the game though, cause I'm gonna be in there hosting that thing.
All
For
right.
sure.
Y'all
Rocky
do
got me
y'all
hungry.
thing.
They bought some
Hey,
cheddar
they
biscuits.
got a link where you can watch this later.
You cover your mouth and still see you laughing.
I got you.
Drop it in the chat. Drop it
I
in the
bet.
chat. I'll watch it after. All right, bro.
Yo, Dev.
Rocky got me hungry talking about some cheddar biscuits, boy. I was like,
Man, chill out.
Yo, Dev.
I'm gonna have a second dinner.
What's good? What's good, bro?
Man, what's up, man? This a little dope setup.
Hey man, I don't do this. I don't do this often. YouTube, man, it's a whole different animal and crowd getting people to pull up because it's crazy, right? Like we can get, and I think it's just because like the flexibility of the app. You already on Twitter. You just pull up to whatever you see above your head.
Right.
YouTube, it don't have the same effect, man. But what up, man? Where you watching the game, man? What you think about tonight? We still looking to hear CJ or to hear final thoughts about or I guess if CJ's playing or not. I doubt Larry's playing, but we'll see. What you think about the game? Any predictions you got? Go ahead, bro.
My service may be a little bad. I'm trying to leave out the city and go get me something to eat.
Yeah, you all right?
Nick's is tonight. But man, I think I'm gonna be in the house tonight watching the game because I hate these late West Coast times. I'm just trying to be in a peaceful mode in the comfort of my home.
Either way,
I think this is a win. I had put that in in one of the group chats earlier. Just looking at the schedule, this is such a big. We have, I think it's like 24 games, and it's crazy. Like the season kind of feel like it went by fast. But I think crazy enough, the Lakers somehow they play weak against us sometimes, and y'all can see that we've punched them in the mouth before. I think it's gonna take Brandon obviously doing his thing.
Service, that was right. The service ain't hold him.
He was doing good.
Yeah, he'll be back. Oh, there you go.
Oh, all right, yeah. So I was basically just saying like Lakers with the rebounding. That's a big area that we gotta at least break even on because they got AD for one. They have
Correct.
Vanderbilt. Hachimura is a small forward, power forward guy, so he gets boards. So I think as usual, we have to hustle. That's my thing. I hate seeing us kind of look so lethargic sometimes, and I don't. It's just kind of like I don't understand it. I would get it if it's like a vet team, but you look at like the game against OKC, and that's how OKC plays, I think, in general. But you see them, they hustling, they just out there just trying to make plays,
group rebounding too.
Yeah, and I want us to do that. I hope CJ can play, but I think this is a W we can get for sure. I think the other thing I forgot to mention was the Larry piece. I hope Larry can play because it just came out he was questionable. I was like, what the fuck?
I'm telling you, man. Between history and seeing how these things naturally happen with this staff, and just knowing, remembering how Larry eventually got hurt and the kind of injury he got, I don't really see. I'd be surprised if he played, but I will say this: I feel as if, and this is going to be a new starting lineup for the Lakers, right? Troy Brown's going to be the person that's out the lineup post trade deadline. You respect, but will they make any? I don't think that they're going to make any other changes outside of that. That's going to be. I'm trying to think. Who did they run last game? Real quick, it was
Schroeder,
AD, Schroeder, Russ, Rui, and Troy Brown. So you expect Brian to slide into to Troy Brown's spot, or maybe that's not the case. Maybe Schroeder comes in off the bench, which I would think would be the smarter move. But maybe they they elevate a Vanderbilt, or maybe they elevate a Beasley, which you have in Brown out there. But if it's not Vanderbilt, I'm very curious. Like, the start is going to be important because to me, and Vinay was talking about it before, the only real BI matchup that you have on this roster, even with your changes, is Vanderbilt. That's it. So if you don't start him and you get off to a rough start, not a pressure's on you. You at home, you need this win. Bron's game first backs his break, his first game backs is breaking the record. I'm really curious to what changes the Lakers end up making when Bron comes back and how effective it is.
How many games Bron been out?
Was it 3 now?
It must be.
He ain't played ever since he broke the record. He missed. So this is 3 games where he missed.
Okay. So who's starting?
Well, they haven't announced it yet, but it was their last 2 starting lineups. It's had Troy Brown and Schroeder in it. So
so it'd probably be
I say this
Schroeder,
real quick.
Schroeder, Vanderbilt, Hachimura, LeBron, and Davis. Then probably.
If that would probably be the lineup I would invest in.
I don't think it's gonna. So listen to Laker fans because I love listening to their sorrows. They have the same issue with Ham as we did with Willie when it came to DG, and he has an affinity for Schroeder. Like, they've been begging for this man not to be starting or even be in the lineup with Beverly and all this stuff. They were expecting him not to play the last game, and he.
Did we lose you?
And now we lost James.
It's cold.
He might be on to something. I mean, I'm curious, like,
who the other point is.
Well, I mean, that I don't know much about Darvin Ham's tendencies in regards to how he sees the game to know if he'll just say, well, it doesn't matter because I got Brian out there. or if you know what I'm saying, he'll say, "All right, I need an actual guard out there." Which, if CJ plays, you do need another guard out there. I will say, if CJ is playing, you kind of got to have Schroeder out there. You know what I'm saying? If CJ is not playing, then you can probably go with a bigger lineup. But does that help you long term? Because you only have 20 plus games to get this team meshed together. Because regardless of everything else that's being said, there are, and I see it from Laker fans, people still think this team can win a championship.
Yep.
It is what it is. And look, I mean, you got LeBron James. You should think that. You should think that. It's not gonna happen, but that's what the thought is based around. So if that's the case, you need as many reps as possible. And I hate to say that because I've only seen 10 games. We've only seen 10 games of CJ.
I didn't know this lit up. I'm sorry.
That's crazy.
Good. I thought they were flat. Your order was ready.
Man, look.
Right.
My wife brought these home from the parade. I don't even think she knew these things.
That's crazy.
My fault.
I forgot the Lakers have D'Lo and Lonnie Walker. So that's what it could start.
Right. D'Lo gonna start. Lonnie came off the bench. Lonnie in a weird situation because I know they tried to trade him. I know they did. But he ironically killed us the last time, the first game in LA.
The first game, yeah.
You know D'Lo gonna start. It comes down between Schroeder and Brown, who they are not going to play. I'm pretty sure Brown's not gonna play. What happens with Schroeder? Do you keep him in the lineup or do you take him out and do you substitute him with an Austin Reeves or Vanderbilt, whatever the case may be? I would think Vanderbilt needs to be the option just for defensive purposes, because in that regular lineup, you don't have anybody that can guard BI.
Yeah. They just have this weird gumbo-like mesh of players that we just gotta kill them. Like every time we play the Lakers, I'm like, we should just be blowing these. Maybe not blowing them out, but you know, when you look at the roster, it's really just like a bunch of just guys with LeBron and AD.
Just a bunch of guys, bro. Just a bunch of guys with LeBron and AD. Yeah, nah, 100.
Right. And it's like when you look at us, it's like, well, we got, you know, continuity, you know, and so on and so forth. So that's just where my mindset goes. Is just we're playing this team that really is just like a bunch of just parts just put together.
Well, look, I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna close out, and it's gonna hurt some people's feelings. And I hope that I'm wrong, but say this. I don't think tonight a Najee night.
No.
And I'm gonna be 100. Okay. And I'm gonna be 100. I don't know if a lot of nights going forward, if Brandon and CJ are healthy, or Najee nights. And I hope I'm wrong.
This man Jay Rich came in the door with 10 and 5 steals. I forgot how many rebounds and assists, but I know he had them 5 steals and 10 points.
And through the first lob that connected in 3 months.
It was so beautiful. I was like, oh my God.
No, the part that hit me, I saw the lob coming when he was running, and I'm like, Jay Rich, bro, I know you new here. Don't throw it. Don't throw the lob, brother. Please don't throw the lob. But he threw it, and then I was like, it's BI. Don't throw BI no lob, bro. Right. Like he hit the reverse dunk. I said, oh, you know what? Let me shut up. He know what he's doing.
See what it is, Jay.
All right.
Point for Miami when they had who was the Tyler Johnson and forgot who was on that team in those like couple of years. So he was running point for Miami. So he got skills for sure.
I forgot about that. He was the people. I mean, listen, man. If for those that are here, if you are unfamiliar with Josh Richardson's game, he is not. It's very difficult to put him in a box because while his skill set, I think, is universal, and he does pretty much. I don't think he does anything great, but he does pretty much everything across the board good. Like he can handle the ball. He can play make a little bit. Like Dev said, he ran a little point. Can he defend? Yes. Is he a smart basketball player in regards to cuts and being able to speed up things? Yes. Can he shoot a little bit? Yes. This year, he's a much better mid-range shooter. Josh is going to be interesting on this team, man, because he's going to be welcomed. And I think he was welcomed immensely in the first game. Go ahead, James.
Oh, I'm sorry. I will go ask. I do have a question in regards to it because I was thinking about this watching the OKC game. Dyson is out probably another month or so. Damn, he probably will come back the same time Zion come back at this point with that ankle thing. But we were loving Dyson. How do you think that's gonna work when he becomes healthy again? Because Jay Rich, even though Dyson probably obviously had a higher upside going forward, and we invested a first round lottery pick in him, like, and as great of a passer he is, Jay Rich is at least as good a defender as he saw. At least the one game we saw, at least a good defender. He does have a high IQ. The difference between him and Dyson is that Dyson is still trying to find his offense. Well, Jay Rich, like, he knows what he does. Like, yeah, he don't shoot it a lot great, but he does get to the rim, and he going to the rim to score. He's not going to pass like Dyson did to a certain occasion. Like, what do you think happens in that situation?
It's gonna be tough, bro. Like Josh. I mean, Dyson needed to take advantage, health and production, but health alone, he needed to take advantage of this time while mainly the time when Zion and Brandon were out, because the staff, I think the organization was already, it was clear that they were trying to trade Devontae. They were looking for a home, and same with Jackson. It just didn't work out. But the issue the issue now is that, well, Najee isn't sitting, not for Dyson. It's just not going to happen, even if you would like to see it. So his main, until we know what's going on with Zion, even after Zion comes back, his best opportunity is to take Kyra's minutes. And be honest with yourself, right now, with the way that Kyra is playing, another lottery draft pick, and what this team needs, how much do you gain from sitting Kyra? And even if you do sit Kyra, how many minutes is that out the gate to where it even benefits Dyson? I don't know. And I don't know if you have enough time now, bro. You got less than 30 games left. You don't have enough time to be messing around with things. You're trying to be in the playoffs, especially with a rookie. I think Dyson will pay off one way or another for you, but I don't, his route to getting minutes, his realistic route, unless Najee gets hurt or something, like Najee would have to unfortunately get hurt. Because even if it's through Kyra, it's only a few minutes a game, and it puts a lot of pressure on him, because Kyra's playing, I think, relatively well right now. It's a couple ugly, missed layups and some things like that, but Kyra's playing good basketball. And he's the only, outside of Jose, he's the only point guard you have right now. So that's where I'm at. Everett, you got anything before we get out of here?
Well, no, man, y'all done finished up. So, no, man, we could chop it up another time. I was going to ask you about something that didn't have nothing to do with the Pelicans, but it's cool.
Well, listen, I'm gonna be around for spaces later on, man. So you know what I'm saying, we could chop it up then, man.
I ain't gonna lie, I like this better than the damn the other thing that y'all use, because I can actually hop on here.
There you go, man. I think I'm gonna do more, man. We'll see. The live shows be tricky because of like timing and stuff, depending on the games. But this was cool, man.
Bro, this whole late game shit.
9 o'clock.
I like it.
That's what I started. That's what I came in with, Ev.
Look, I just want the Pelicans to do what I need them to do so I can get in the Lakers space and talk mad stuff.
Sometimes it's just that simple, bro. I understand.
It really is that simple.
Mike from the OC be wilding,
Pretty
bro.
much. Ugly win is a win to me. I'm gonna catch one we get.
All right, y'all. I appreciate everybody pulled up here, man. This was cool. I will holler at y'all.
Y'all
if me will play back, pull up, probably do a half of that. If not, see y'all in the spaces. Hopefully the Pelicans win. This was dope. Rail, Everett, James, my dog Veneta pulled up. It's all love, man. I'll holler at y'all next time.
All right.
All right, bro.
Peace.